So what's the sequence of opening?
Well, we've already done this sway bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we needed both sides disconnected. Not really super important, but we will need to, in which order, but we need to the shock mounts up and bottom.
Yeah.
This thing, all the brackets first, maybe all the brackets for this brake
lines and stuff.
brake line,
Yeah.
wheel sensor, so that they don't get pulled out too strong.
Okay. So UCAs are open in the end?
Yeah, once there's a little bit more space, yeah. Once the shock is out and everything, I can take care of the UCA.
Okay, let's do it.
So here's the upper control arm, okay, the stock one. And this is a part of the suspension when you have independent front suspension that is often replaced if you want to have a higher performance suspension. And the reason is usually, of course, there's still, because this is here a ball joint, and you know, the level of articulation, whenever you will put some shocks that will provide longer suspension travel, you will probably put more stress on that ball joint, and ultimately it might get damaged. But also on a lot of cars, this actually, the design of this is usually a limiting factor in the suspension down travel, because this the upper control arm will hit those the socket for the upper shock mount. Okay, but I gotta say, on this car it's not the case, because you see how far down this goes. I mean, your suspension will never go this much far down. So this is not the case on the LC300, right? But I've seen other cars where it is the case, where you reach to this point and boom, it's starting to hit, and you see the damage here on this place, either side basically. But on the Land Cruiser 300, again, this is not the case. But anyways, putting aftermarket upper control arms like this one, there's a number of other brands also that usually specialize in those kind of parts. But this is, of course, will give you better articulation and better performance overall, and will last longer.
Okay, Paul, tell us what you have done here.
Okay, what I've done is that I've replaced the stock upper control arm with this one, and replaced the shock with this coil-over shock with this one from King Shocks. So this is, as you can see, adjustable here from 1 to 3 inches lift. So basically the way you do this is there's a little bolt here to lock it or unlock it.
Yeah.
And once it's unlocked, you have this tool that comes with the shocks to basically use this to just
adjust it.
Move the ring along the thread
And
here,
this,
up or down. So the more you go down, the more preload, basically, the more tension on the spring. So it will raise the car.
Yeah.
And the more you move the ring up, then the less preload, and the more basically the car will
and
go
this
down.
This rod came with the shock itself, adjustment?
Yeah, this thing,
Okay.
yes, came with the shocks.
And tell us about the bracket.
The bracket here, there was some kind of plastic trim here that we had to remove to put it, and this bracket came with the shocks as well to hold the remote reservoir with compression adjustment here, which we'll play with and try to. There's like 30 different clicks.
So what did you have to open to put the shock in actually?
Okay,
you opened the low control arms?
We had to first start with the sway bar, which we haven't reconnected yet, because we're going to work on the other side. And then we've had to disconnect the shock from, there's 4 bolts on the upper mount and a big one on the lower mount. And so once those were removed, we had to pry the sway bar because even though it's not connected on the other side, those bushings are like springs basically.
Yeah.
So you have to pry the sway bar to move it up or down.
Okay.
So you have to pry it to move it down to be able to slide out the shock, and the same when you put it back. Okay. And for this we had to unbolt there's a long bolt, so we had to unbolt it.
Yeah.
And then just remove the long bolt, slides out this side.
Yeah.
Then remove the upper control arm, the stock one, and put this one instead.
Perfect.
And this one I had already adjusted, tightened everything beforehand, before installing it.
So one side done?
One side done, second side should be easier.
Yeah.
And faster, inshallah.
Let's go.
Okay, so now we want to remove this upper control arm to replace it with aftermarket one. So we've untightened the bolt, but now the bolt is not going to slide all the way because there's something here in the way. So what is this thing? Then we need to go up, and we find that there's something attached. It's this thing here.
ECU.
So there are 3 bolts we've removed so far. One here, okay, and one was under the air box. So good thing the air box was easy to remove. Once you pop it open, it's just it's just clips basically. So you pull it, and it comes out of these several clips. So there was one other bolt here that we've now removed. So now maybe this will move enough so that we can slide the upper control arm bolt out, maybe not. And the harnesses are so tight. Holding it. Okay, maybe we need to unplug all this.
So the harnesses are out.
Okay, can you pull the bolt out?
Yeah. There you are.
Okay, all the way.
That's it.
All
the
right.
bolt went out. We have to remember, guys, we need to put it back as well. Yep. Now we're putting back the ECU.
This is the one that was.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, in sequence. They will come in sequence. Yeah. Yeah. And the last one is here. Yep. Hasn't gone all the way in.
I think
The box going in. Yeah. Push it in. Duck. You hear 3 ducks? No? Okay, good. Okay. Put the filter in. Okay, done. Put the filter in. Close it. Good. Good to go. Yeah. You see a bolt in.